sharp, and if the Cowboys know they need to win to get into the playoffs, but what a way to go into postseason with a sharp performance on both sides of the ball.
Well, we said that right at the start of the game, and we talked about if the Dallas Cowboys were going to do anything, it was going to have to be on the arm of Troy Aikman. Now, the good news for them is they got Emmett Smith running very well on the right side of that offensive line. Has been really taking task to the left defensive side of the New York Football Giants. For the Giants right now, Dick, when you look at them, you can't say anything about their effort because they're playing hard. I think the biggest thing there is, well, like my buddy Ed Muller says at home, they just need some more players. And I would agree.
Ed might have been the first one ever to say a thing like that.
That's right.
Let's take a look at the halftime statistics. And the Cowboys dominating, and the Cowboys 1 for 4 in the red zone. Early in the game, the Giants had some hope because they limited Dallas to 2 field goals when the Cowboys had first and goal at the 5 or 6 yard line. But then Troy Aikman hit Raghib Ismail for a touchdown pass. Murray has 3 field goals, and there you have it. It's a 16-0 game as Dallas will kick off to start the third quarter. Tiki Barber back deep for the Giants. David Patton is alongside him. And Murray with the kick, and Barber 3 yards in the end zone, bringing it out for the Giants, and doesn't get beyond the 21 yard line.
You know, Dick, we watched this Giant offense in the first half, and the majority of what Collins was doing when he was throwing, they weren't stretching the field by any stretch of the imagination, and they went only 2 times over 20 yards. So anything under 20, you can see right there, is 15 times. They only threw the ball 17 times, and you're down now by 16 points. At one point, you have to push it down the field. The question is, who do you push it with? Who's their real speed guy?
First and 10 at the 21 yard line. Play action on first down, and Collins' pass tipped off the hands of Howard Cross, incomplete. Let's check in with Pam Oliver.
All right, Dick, as you know, Jim Fossil declared that Giants players are pretty much playing for their jobs. So along those lines, he says he feels happy with the way that they're playing. He feels like they're giving him a good effort. He just wants to see the offense kick it up a little bit better. As for Chan Gailey, he says he wants to see more of the same, with the exception of touchdowns in the red zone. Needs more of those. He says, though, he's happy with the execution on offense, defense, and special teams. Back to you.
All right, Pam, and I guess he would be. A 16-0 shutout going right now. And here is Joe Montgomery for a short game. By the way, we have some updates on injuries in the first half. Christian Peter, who went into the locker room with dizziness, is back on the field, and he is better, and that is good news. And Emmitt Smith, who also went in with dehydration before the half, is also back and feeling better. And there is Christian Peter.
I remember a game of, about maybe 10 years back, and Emmitt Smith was playing the Washington Redskins. In the first half, he tore him up, and he got sick and never came back in, and they went on to lose that game. With him out of there, it changed the complexion completely.
3rd and 8 on the 23. Here comes the pressure. It's picked up, and this pass is incomplete. Amani Toomer, who is in with range of all-time Giant receiving marks, has yet to catch one today.
Well, you can see one catch between the two of them. And it goes back to what Sean Payton was talking to us about just yesterday. You go into the game and you have to get the ball into the hands of the guys who can make some plays. And if they're deeming them as their guys who can make plays, that's not a good snap there. One catch between the two of them.
Dion back to return the kick by Brad Maynard. Deion Sanders fields the kick at the 25. And he gets by David Patton, and he's finally tripped up at the 32 yard line by Pete Monty. So Kerry Collins right now 11 for 21, 89 yards and 1 interception. We'll be right back.
NFL Sunday is brought to you by Volkswagen. On the road of life, there are passengers and there are drivers.
You know, part of returning punts is you have to have a plan. You watch Deion Sanders with the spin move off Patton right as he caught the ball. That tells you that he felt that thing. This is what he felt, was Patton coming down. Heck, Patton was moving so fast, Deion even moved faster. You see that?
Yes, I did. 33 yard line. We can make anything happen with videotape. First down for the Cowboys. Troy Aikman having a superb day. Completes his first pass to Raghib Ismail to start the third quarter, a gain of 13 yards.
So much has been talked about down here with this Dallas offense in the passing game, and how Troy Aikman, has been off a little bit. His receivers aren't always running the right routes, and they're out of sync. And you watch the tape, and it looked like that, but Aikman doesn't look out of sync today. Troy Aikman's going back. He's got time to throw, and he's throwing to a plethora of receivers,
and many of them as well. And to use your lingo, here is Emmitt Smith, nothing there, and a loss on the play. And so Troy Aikman, whose numbers have been down this year, and Aikman with the completion percentage way down from what it has been, but let's see where his passes have gone distance-wise.
Well, he's not pushing the ball down the field either. You can see that he only went over one time, over 20. Everything else is 21 attempts, all under 20 yards. The difference in the passing games has been that Aikman's has had receivers to throw to that are open.
Second down and 14. The Giants debilitated in the secondary with the loss of Sehorn and Felipe Sparks, their starting corners, and Aikman trying to take advantage of it. And this pass intended for Tucker, incomplete, covered by Hamilton. Interesting thing that Chan Gailey told us yesterday, Matt, and that is, do not judge Troy Aikman by his statistics, because he has not played with the same set of receivers for 3 weeks in a row, and that has forced a lot of adjustment by number 8.
Yeah, from the start of the season all the way through. And Troy's one of those quarterbacks that he relies on timing. He relies on a good mesh between him and the receiver. And when you're changing guys, you don't get the feel for the receiver.
Deion Sanders is in the game at the wide receiver along with 3 others on third down and 14. And Aikman trying to escape and dumps it off smartly to Chris Warren. So Aikman avoiding the sack and gets it to Warren. Michael Strahan making the tackle and a gain of 8 yards, but it's fourth down.
That was a good effort by Aikman. Strahan is working on Eric Williams, and that time he gets it. And he works back underneath and is able to get pressure on Aikman and force him out of the pocket. Aikman did a fine job of staying with it and just spotting him, and as he goes down, he's able to get that ball out there.
Fourth down, and Toby Goen punting for the first time today. That's how rosy things have been for the Cowboys. And a booming high kick. Tiki Barber gets hit, and a flag is coming as the ball goes into the end zone. Wendell Davis knocked Tiki Barber down. And there'll be some yardage marked off against the Cowboys.
If Tiki Barber raised his hand, you can't touch him, and he can't touch you. But if he didn't, and he tries to block you, you can whack him.
That's true. His arm did not go up. And a conference now amongst the officials at the 10.
See, now you're going to have to make the determination. You can't hit a defenseless player. But Barber was drawing him over that way. He never raised his hand.
Well, the preliminary signal is that it will go against the Cowboys. Ron Blum.
Interference with the opportunity to make a fair catch. 15 yards.
I did not see a fair catch.
Well, maybe he made the fair catch earlier.
Timeout.
That would be the only thing. If he raised his hand real early, he doesn't. We don't see the hand go up here at all. So but if it's raised, you can't touch it.
He had to do it earlier if that was a fair catch.
Now take a jerk.
Right, Wendell Davis called for interference for Tiki Barber. Interference if you wanted to make a fair catch. We saw no indication of that at all.
Yeah, see this, he doesn't make the fair catch sign. But what he's doing right down here is he's trying to draw coverage away from the ball. Now watch, the ball is over his head. He wasn't trying to catch that ball. He never raised his hand. Unless I'm misunderstanding the rule, I think that's a
but it's a 4-yard call. 4-yard penalty because the ball went into the end zone, and the Giants will start from the 24. Sean Bennett is the tailback, seeing his first action in 5 weeks as a running back. Kerry Collins to throw. Flag is down, and Bennett on the receiving end, and the rookie from Northwestern. About a yard short of the first down. Darren Hambrick, the linebacker, on the tackle, and another penalty against the Giants.
Holding, 78 offense, 10 yards, repeat first down.
Mike Rosenthal holding. nullifies a 9-yard pickup.
You watch Rosenthal right up here, number 78. Against Brandon Noble. That's more of a takedown. You might go with the 2 points.
So it'll be first down and the 20. Giants have not done much with their 5 possessions today. And on the screen pass, the ball hitting Barber from behind.
Oh, actually what it did.
Or it was deflected. You're right.
What it was, right, from Brandon Noble.
Right. Didn't hit him from behind. But
it hit him right in the breadbasket. He did a chance for an interception.
Almost a very careless play by the Giants offense setting up the screen.
Former college teammates right there, Brandon Noble and Kerry Collins.
And where did they go to school?
A fine academic institution in the eastern middle part of Pennsylvania. I believe that would be the Pennsylvania State University.
Terry Sandusky coaching his last game.
He's retired. Good coach.
Second down and 20. And here is Amani Toomer. And Amani Toomer with his first catch of the game getting a first down. So Amani Toomer, who has been the Giants' top receiver, picking up 25 yards on that pass catch and run.
Yeah, running back underneath, and he does a good job of picking up the block down the field by Greg Camella. Right there, Camella on Hambrick allowed him to get that first down.
Toomer coming into the game needed 2 catches to pass Ernest Gray as the all-time Giant leading receiver. 4 catches, which he set back in '83. First down at the 39. Here is Camella, and he is hit immediately. Good speed and lateral pursuit by the Cowboys, and Dexter Coakley, who of course heading for the Pro Bowl, one of 6 Cowboys to do so, holds the Giants to a 3-yard gain.
And that Dexter Coakley, when you watch him, he's one of those guys, he's rarely, if ever, off his feet. He has tremendous speed, but he has excellent quickness as well. Looks like he just stuck his finger in the socket right there. Holy smokes. He can really play. He's electric himself.
Second down and 7 at the 42. Juravicius goes in motion, and they hand off to Sean Bennett, turning the corner and going down the sidelines. And Bennett, with the Giants' big rushing gain of the day, knocked out of bounds by Pepe Zellner after a pickup of 29 yards. Bennett playing his first game in 5 weeks after an injury.
Excellent job, Howard Cross. Camella does a nice job right there on Teague, which allows him to take the corner. And then watch Zellner at the end, because he outruns the angle, but Zellner just catches him by the top of his pad, and Bennett can't run through it.
Sprained MCL kept Bennett on the sideline. So first down for the Giants on the 29 of the Cowboys. Here is Bennett again. Bennett, who played college ball at Evansville. They closed down the sport, and he transferred to Northwestern. Didn't play much in his senior year and was drafted by the Giants on the 4th round.
What he needs? Reps. That's what he's going to need. The more he plays, you'll get a better flavor for what he is, and you'll know exactly what he can do in this league.
Second down and 8 on the Cowboy 27. Tiki Barber is the running back. Kerry Collins goes underneath, and the catch made by Barber, and he'll be about 2.5 yards short of the first down. Dexter Coakley all over the field today on the clamp.
Well, he's clamping courtesy of the feet. Dexter Coakley has tremendous feet. They're never out of position. He moves them fast when he runs, and he takes the short, choppy steps, not a real long strider. So it's hard to knock him off his feet. Not a big guy, but he's a player.
Third down and 3, and keep in mind the Giants have 2 downs to get the first down, trailing 16-0. And eliminated from the playoff chase. And the pressure on Collins, and the pass is caught. And Ike Hilliard has enough for a Giant first down inside the Dallas 20. He picked up 4. That did the job.
Well, Collins knew he was going to get pressure. Coakley came clean right off the side. He had pressure right up inside. He was going to have to get rid of the ball fast. It's one thing for the quarterback to have to make that read. but he has to be on the same page with Hilliard. Hilliard made the same read, broke it off, and got the first.
First down for the Giants on the Cowboy 18. Sean Bennett back in at running back, and Bennett gets the carry. And Bennett is spun around, knocked away. The clock still working. A gain that time of 4 yards. Darren Woodson providing the hit. He is not going to the Pro Bowl, Darren Woodson.
No, and I think that's the guy who deserves to be in the Pro Bowl. And I think when you say that, you have to say, okay, if not him, then who? I mean, if not him, then whose spot does he take? And he's a better player, really, all the way around than the 3 that made it. The guy out in San Francisco who made it, the kid from Hofstra, had himself a good year, but he's not as good a player as this guy. This guy is really a good player.
At least you said who shouldn't be in when you say a guy should be, and no one ever does that. Second down and 6. And there's a swing pass to Bennett, and a big hit by Deion Sanders to nail Bennett in the open field. Big play by Deion.
Listen to the crowd.
And Michael
Crowd's
Irvin,
excited about it too.
Yes.
It's like Michael Irvin is. You know, the thing about Deion Sanders, people say, and I've been critical of him because he doesn't like to hit, but he will if he has to. I remember when he played for San Francisco, when they played in the championship game, when he had to come up and they tested him. The Cowboys ran at him and he had to make tackles, and he did. And that stuck in my mind. So if he has to tackle, he will.
Giants still haven't thrown at him today. Third down and 8.
The free play.
Flag is down and the pass is incomplete. And you're right, the preliminary signal is against the Cowboys as Collins got pressure from Ebenezer Ekubon. And if it is against the Dallas Cowboys, it'll be 3rd and 3.
Offside, 96 defense, 5 yards, repeat third
And it
down.
was Ekubon, that's why he got in there so quickly.
The Cowboys have a couple of good young defensive linemen. Ekubon is one out of North Carolina. I think he's going to be all right. And that Greg Ellis, he was playing really well before he got in.
3 weeks ago, out for the season, a huge loss. But got some youth with ability on this Dallas defense.
The other guy who helped them a lot this year was Alonzo Spellman, and they moved him down inside, and he's played well. Of course, he's on the sideline right now.
3rd and 3 from the 11. And the shovel pass to Tiki Barber backfires.
Ekubon was right there. And you see what he did. Dick, he started to come up the field and felt it, and he did a spin move back inside, and he spun right into Tiki Barber. And this is what's called the spin. Watch the feet. Up. Now, right inside. That's perfectly done by Ekubon. Now, along with that, it has to be said that there's some luck involved, because there's no way he knew he was going to spin into a tackle.
So Ekubon on the sidelines, and now Harry Blanchard attempting a 29-yard field goal to give the Giants their first points of the game. And the kick by Blanchard is good, and if you're wondering why the Giants wouldn't go for it on 4th down and 3, got to get some points on the board before you start going for the 7th, and that's what the Giants did here. They
Go with Sean Payton. They had to take Monty Toomer and calm him down. He came off the sideline and got into a little bit of a ruckus over there between he and Tiki Barber. Now, Tiki Barber has opened his yap a little bit up there in New York about criticizing his teammates about not preparing enough or maybe not having enough heart or whatever. And sometimes that, you know, guys can only take so much. You don't question. It's good sometimes to call them out, and other times it'll come back and bite you. But that's all right. I'd rather have a guy call you out.
That was the Giants scoring drive as they trail 16-3. Jason Tucker, who fumbles and seems to recover his own fumble, and does. Tucker, who returned the opening kickoff 79 yards, setting up a field goal, but he alertly recovered the ball. We'll be right back.
Is brought to you by Southwest Airlines, proud sponsor of the NFL and official airline of the Super Bowl. By Turning Leaf Wine, wine lovers know Turning Leaf. By PSINet, the internet super carrier. And by E-Trade, the #1 place to invest online.
Back here at Texas Stadium, Dick Stockton along with Matt Millen, Pam Oliver. 5:15 remaining in the 3rd quarter. The Cowboys leading the Giants 16-3. Christian Peter, who suffered dizziness, went into the locker room in the first half, has been out there at defensive tackle. Cowboys first down on the 14-yard line. And the handoff is to Emmitt Smith. Smith on the verge of another 100-yard gain. That was his 10th carry. Well, get ready for Greed Fest. 3 nights of TV's richest game show, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. The only network television game show that can give away over $2 million. Greed Fest, the 3-night event, starts Wednesday at 9, 8 Central on Fox. Emmitt Smith 2 yards away. Well, we'll correct that. 2nd and 9 on the 15-yard line. And movement in the line.
It's 2 yards away from 69 yards.
That's right. You know, when you turn around 99, turn it upside down at 66.
I hate it when that happens.
False start, 73 offense. 5 yards, repeat second down.
Larry Allen, the left guard, only the 3rd penalty against the Cowboys today, and they went in, the most penalized team in the NFL. And Chan Gailey talking about how they have come at the most inopportune times. Of course, I don't know an opportune time for a penalty.
Right now, this is an opportunity for these Giants to get right back in this game. They can stop him right here and get a little field position.
Pass is caught by Jason Tucker, and he's off.
Then again, maybe not.
After Jeremy Lincoln missed him. Jason Tucker, a keeper perhaps after a tremendous game last week against New Orleans, goes 90 yards for a Dallas touchdown.
Dick, you go all the way back to our pregame show, and this is the perfect illustration of what Terry Bradshaw was talking about. That Aikman would go after those inexperienced corners. Even though you have inexperience on your side, you have to take your shot. And he did. And one missed tackle, and 90 yards later, and Don Meredith might be singing.
And that also ties Troy Aikman's career long touchdown pass of 90 yards. And Eddie Murray with the extra point for the Cowboys. And they get the touchdown back in a hurry, and Michael Irvin, only playing 4 games this year, out with a neck injury and maybe finish for his career, watches Jason Tucker from Troy Aikman. Jason Tucker on the right, getting the touchdown, and it's 23-3 in favor of the Dallas Cowboys. And following up the point you just made is Tucker with his 2nd prolific week of receiving yards and return yardage, all purpose, on the brink of 200 today. The Cowboy backup receivers are beating the Giant backup defensive backs. It's come down to that. Goins kick, and down by Barber in the end zone for a touchback.
Well, if you're Jason Tucker and you have one bounce off your face in the end zone, there's really only one way to come back and redeem yourself, and that's to make a big play. So you slip a tackle, you use your speed, you hit that other gear, you feel pretty good about yourself on the sidelines.
And that tied the longest pass in the NFL this season, 90 yards. Billy Joe Hobart hit Eddie Kennison as the Saints back against Atlanta on October the 10th, 90 yards, and this matched that, and it was Aikman's career high, and Tucker going over 100 yards in his 2nd consecutive start. 1st and 10 at the 20-yard line for the Giants. Collins completing the pass to Tiki Barber.
Chad Hennings got himself a nice reception at the other end,
but he made the catch and out of bounds for the first down.
Good heads-up play by Hennings. Barber they're going to find underneath, and nearly this has been the staple of their offense in the passing game all day long. Ball comes out right there, and Hennings is right there just to complete it.
On top of the great year he's had as a defensive tackle.
He's played pretty well.
He's
one of those guys that people completely forget about.
It's first down at the 32. Collins. And this is ruled a catch by Ike Hilliard. And a pickup of 7 yards. So the Giants in a hurry-up offense now, trailing by 20 points, 23-3, and winding down to 3 minutes remaining in the third. Collins has completed 8 in a row. 2nd down and 3. And make it 9 as Amani Toomer makes the catch just short of midfield for the 1st down. And Toomer has now passed Ernest Gray as the all-time leading Giant receiver with catches. That was his 79th. He passed Ernest Gray and on the brink of passing Homer Jones for yardage as well.
Modest records, to say the least, in today's passing game.
Pass caught by Joe Juravicius, and a gain of about 5 on the play.
You know, this is a passing league, and those records are old records. They should fall, because today's football, you know, 125 catches is the league record, 123 I think by Chris Carter. And good numbers are, yeah, you get around 100, 110. That's when you're having yourself an excellent season.
Michael Irvin style. Here is Tiki Barber out of the backfield, and a 1st down and out of bounds. But I think it shows that the Giants back then and even now have not been a pass-happy team.
Well, they've always played tough defense and run the football. That's been the staple of what they are. And I think, you know, you have to make the next transition, but you first have to have the players to do that. And I think they need to upgrade their talent.
1st down on the 34. Kerry Collins being chased by Ekman and throws it away.
You know, just watching today, this Dallas secondary, they're covering them all over the place. They don't push the ball down the field because there's nobody to throw it to down there. So you're forced to have to dump it off underneath. Just watch the coverage all the way around. Although that guy looks pretty open to me until you have the bigger picture and you see that the safety's dropping off on him.
And now we talked about how the Giants are missing their starting corners in Sparks and Sehorn, but don't forget the Cowboys are missing Kevin Smith and Kevin Mathis as well. 2nd down and 10. And the pass up the middle, and no one there except a series of white shirts. So no Giant was home, and that incomplete pass will bring up 3rd down.
Take a look at this pass and tell me if you think there's anybody remotely. Oh, this is what he was anticipating to get to the middle of the field. He fell down. Of course, the 6-yard line looked wide open to me.
Might have hit the 6. 3rd and 10 at the 34-yard line. Pressure on Collins, and down he goes. Leon Lett, suspended for the first 8 games of the season, comes in and gets the 1st sack of the game for either team.
And when you start thinking to push the ball down the field, then you need a little bit of time. Rosenthal got beat like a drum, easy. Right to the inside move. They didn't give him any help as well, so you got Leon Lett all by herself, and that's what happens.
So it is 4th down, and Maynard will be kicking for the Giants. And the Cowboys looking to get a piece of it.
I don't know if they did or not. It may have sounded like there was a tip in there someplace. If it wasn't, it was one ugly kick. Ball's out at the 29-yard line.
Well, the Giants finishing up, heading for a 7-9 finish. And they got off to a 5-3 start, and there was some hope for the Giants this year. And of course, the defense playing outstanding ball early, pointing fingers at the defense. And Kerry Collins took over for Kent Graham, and there was some hope with a couple of wins against the Jets and the Bills, but losses last 2 weeks to the Rams and the Vikings, dashing the Giant hopes. And coming into this game, really were out of it when it started, with Green Bay winning. Wellington Mara, the 83-year-old co-owner, Ernie Accorsi, the general manager, to his left. And they're going to need a lot of work done in the offseason as Emmitt Smith on 1st down gets a couple of yards. And you mentioned the #1 priority, and that is overall team speed.
Yeah, you have to have team speed. You have to. They need a pass rusher. I mean, Michael Strahan's a good player, but Michael Strahan almost looks to me like he's a right defensive end. Not a real big guy, maybe around 270. You're also, you know what? You have to draft well. And in today's football, I'm not real sold on the fact that you go out and get a big-name guy and bring him in. That doesn't necessarily thrill me. You get some pieces of the puzzle, but you have to do it through the draft.
2nd down and 7 at the 32-yard line. Aikman's pass, and it is ruled a catch at the 40-yard line by Jason Tucker. And of course, you have to be healthy too.
Yes.
It's interesting. You look at the Rams and the Redskins, 2 teams who have really not had a major injury all season long.
Well, they need some health in their secondary.
And that is the end of the 3rd quarter here at Texas Stadium with the score, the Cowboys 23 and the Giants 3. Fox NFL Sunday will continue right after these messages. Quarter here at Texas Stadium, and Happy New Year to all of you on this 2nd of January.
Merry New Year.
Yes. Dallas Cowboys really having a Happy New Year with a first down on the 40-yard line, and Emmitt Smith is upended. Well, how many chances have the Cowboys had? And of course, last week they lose to New Orleans, and it was an emotional week. First they were down, then they were up because they had a chance, and really they are really taking advantage of it.
It's amazing. You know, just a week ago, John Madden was talking about that they don't deserve to be in the playoffs. You watch them today, and Troy Aikman looks like he could take this team into the playoffs and do well. And so I think the biggest thing is they've taken advantage of this opportunity now. And I think if you're the Dallas Cowboys at this point, you look back, you don't look backwards. You just forget it all, and you move forward from this point.
2nd down and 11, and the catch to David LaFleur, the tight end, will leave them about 5 yards shy of the first down. Now, the interesting thing is, we related before, if the Cowboys go on and win, they would not be the 6th seed, but the 5th seed in the NFC playoffs. The Detroit Lions, who lost to the Vikings today, also would be an 8-8 team, as would be the Cowboys. And the wild card games in the NFC would match Dallas at Minnesota and Detroit at Washington.
Now, Dallas got beat up in Minnesota on a Monday night game, but if you remember that game, Emmitt was running all over them.
Yes.
They can beat the Minnesota Vikings.
And here is that man Tucker again, Jason Tucker, who went 90 yards with a touchdown pass in the 3rd quarter and returned the opening kickoff 79 yards, grabs this for 8.
And the other half of that, Washington was beaten by Detroit in Detroit. Now Detroit would have to go to Washington to play them, and that's a game that the Redskins can win. This guy here is one reason, Tucker, is one reason that they would have even a better chance. He didn't even exist the last time they played Minnesota, and he's making big plays, and their secondary in Minnesota is not that solid, although they haven't been giving up big plays lately.
Deion Sanders on the end around is going to try to throw a pass, and he was going for Ismail, but it is incomplete. So the Cowboys leading 23-3, still entertaining the crowd with a little kind of razzle-dazzle with it. Deion trying to throw.
Deion goes back, he comes across the motion here, he's wide open. A good job by the off corner to fall off, but a better throw by Deion, who's throwing that thing as this southpaw.
Trying to pull a Randy Moss from last week.
I think he was trying to hit the cutoff man underneath. Shortstop came out, ball was over his head. Of course, he had to make that throw.
The fundamentals of baseball. Sanders 0 for 2 career-wise in the passing department. And here is Emmitt Smith.
Oh, man.
Emmitt Smith has put on a show in the first half, and he's putting on one here in the 4th quarter. Knocked out of bounds, and a gain of 13. And right now, for an NFL update, let's return to James Brown in Los Angeles. JB.
All right, Dick, here is what they may very well be looking forward to. Dallas, Minnesota offense that's working high octane indeed. Randy Moss, 67-yard touchdown play. Minnesota, of course, went on to victory today. This is what Dallas may well be looking forward to. Back to Dick and Matt.
And an interesting thought by Matt. That could be an interesting game in Minnesota, but the Vikings are going into the playoffs on a high.
What a turnaround with Jeff George. They were really struggling under Randall Cunningham, and they're right there.
Here's Emmitt again, and nothing doing on first down. Well, the Dallas Cowboys, a Jekyll and Hyde team here at Texas Stadium and on the road. If they win this game, and they're well on their way, they'll go 7-1, but 1-7 away from home.
7-1 and 1-7. Look at the points. At home they score points. They're just a completely different team on the road.
Best home record since 1981 when they won them all. They were 8-0 that season. 2nd down and 9. Here is Aikman throwing to no one in particular left. Cedric Jones, the Giant defensive end, was the closest, and Robert Thomas was the nearest Cowboy in the area.
Well, he was throwing it to Robert. Robert Thomas was there. He just threw it over his head because there was nothing going to happen. Looking at Robert Thomas, I was speaking to Darryl Johnston before the game, and boy, he looks like he just shrunk now.
From his linebacker days.
From his, he built like a linebacker playing fullback. There's Darryl right there, and a great player. He really was a big part of this offense.
3rd down and 9. Deion Sanders is in the game. They have 3 receivers out to the left. Strahan trying to get in there, and
that's interesting, Dick, because if you looked at that, the Giants. John Fox was going to roll the bones, and he was going to leave Deion Sanders.
79 offense, 5 yards, repeat 3rd down.
He was going to leave Deion Sanders matched up man-to-man with Conrad Hamilton with no help behind him. They were coming with a blitz.
But Eric Williams guilty of the false start. 3rd down and 14. Cowboys on the Giants 38-yard line, leading 23-3. The penalties are all even in the game. Cowboys certainly have curtailed that problem this week. Quick toss, and it's batted down, and see whether George Williams was there to make the deflection, and he was. So 4th down coming up, and the Cowboys will kick. Deion at last had a chance to throw a pass on an end around, which fizzled.
Talking about playing baseball again.
He's been talking about it.
Kind of like him. He actually looks bigger in a baseball uniform than he does.
Toby Goen now goes into pass formation as a receiver. It is 4th down.
They're going to try to get him to jump off sides.
They're not going to do it. So the Cowboys put Signor Mobley behind center as the quarterback, and Toby Goen moved up to the line, but a delay of game call.
Signor Mobley's feeling pretty good about himself. Yeah. You see him? He said, "You see me? I was the quarterback."
Repeat 4th down.
That's one of those things they'll laugh about in the locker room all week long. He got up there, stuck his hands under like he's a big timer. Surprised he didn't put his hands up to calm the crowd down. Look at him. Barking out signals.
Toby Goen now back to punt, or so it seems. And this kick will bounce at the 5 and go into the end zone. So we have seen the Dallas Cowboys with the big lead going into their bag of tricks. They're putting on a show and leading by 20.
Marseille is brought to you by DirecTV. What are you looking at? By Dr. Pepper and your local Dr. Pepper bottler. Dr. Pepper makes the world taste better. By Ameritrade. Believe in yourself. And by Visa, the preferred card of the NFL and Super Bowl 34. It's everywhere NFL fans want to be.
Dallas Cowboys well ahead of the New York Giants, 23-3 early here in the 4th quarter. Cowboys with a win will finish 8-8 and earn a wild card playoff berth. 1st down for the Giants from the 20-yard line. Terry Collins, and his pass is incomplete, intended for Joe Juravicius.
Dick, you saw Troy Aikman talking to Jeff Ogden on the sideline. This is what it wasn't about. He's working on Emmanuel McDaniel and Brandon Sanders. He just gets rid of Sanders, then eliminates that. Now watch this little pirouette comes up the other side. They're not done yet. Sanders comes backside. When you're playing special teams and you're outside, it is a war, and you cannot stop. And Ogden put on a little bit of a show with Sanders.
I didn't know better. I thought they choreographed that whole thing. 2nd down and 10. Collins, and the pass caught by Tiki Barber. About a yard and a half shy of the first down. Darren Woodson in on the tackle with under 11 minutes to go here in the fourth quarter. Giants and the Cowboys have met. This is the 10th time they have met in the season finale, with the Giants having won 5 of the 9. And the Cowboys trying to even it up and well on their way. Here is Collins, and he completes to Juravicius, and Joe Juravicius being chased from behind by Deion Sanders, and he does. He catches him before he gets in at the 1/2 yard line. What great hustle by Deion. 71-yard play, and Juravicius couldn't get in.
But did you see Juravicius? He knew who was chasing him, and he put the ball in front of him, anticipating that Deion was going to get him. See, right there, he sees it. So watch what he does with the ball at the end. He sticks it forward like that. I know you're going to catch me, but the ball's going over.
That's classic.
He looks right there. He goes, oh, no, it's 21. Keep running. Keep running. Now, oh, here, put the ball out. Pretty good.
And here's Joe Montgomery diving in. Touchdown, Giants. So Joe Juravicius on a 71-yard catch and run. Try to extend, but he's happy even though he didn't get into the end zone.
He's still running over there in the sideline. Watch him. See, right there is where he sees Deion, and he's going, oh, crap, I can't believe it's 21. Let me put the ball out in front. Now, see, it's where the ball is.
His knees were down.
When his knee hits.
Right.
That's a great effort by Deion to come across the field and run him down.
I think Deion's having a blast today, throwing passes, going out for catches, and defending back there and chasing down receivers, and his team in front.
Dick, lost in all this. Now you got yourself a 2-touchdown game. Giants can win this thing.
Gary Blanchard's kick is good. Well, the Cowboys can't get too giddy because now it is a 13-point difference. 23-10, the Cowboys leading the Giants, who get their first touchdown of the game, and as Matt points out, is now a 2-score game, and 10 minutes and 19 seconds to go. The Giants up to that point, Matt, gave no indication that they were going to be involved and give the Cowboys a battle in this game, but all it takes is 1 score.
Now they're trying for the onside, so the Cowboys have put their hands team up front. Now they're switching back, so they have the personnel mismatch. The Cowboys countered. Giants lined up like they're going to do the onside. Then they switched over.
Maybe too early for an onside kick.
Yeah, but this is good, though. They should be able to pin them back there.
And the kick out of the end zone for a touchback. Let's go down to Pam Oliver, who's with Moose Johnston.
All right, Dick, thanks a lot. Moose, let me ask you, up and down nature of the team this year, tell me how you think this win, getting into the playoffs, will cure whatever ails them.
Well, the big thing is we'll be in the exact same position we were last year. We got into the playoffs with a 10-6 record last year, but got knocked out in the first round. So this will put us in the same position. But I think everybody wants to have a little bit of confidence going into the playoffs, and just the 1 win is going to do wonders for us because we really have struggled down the stretch.
What do you think the impact was of Jerry's conversation with some of the veterans this week to kind of, read them the riot act? What impact do you think that had on them today?
Well, it seemed to be the nature of the business around the league. We've heard stories of a lot of the owners jumping up or coaches jumping up and challenging their players at this stage of the season. So unfortunately, I wasn't part of that meeting. I wasn't there that afternoon, but talking to some of the guys, they said that basically he was just reassuring that, we've got an opportunity here that we've had for the last 2 weeks, that we've let that get away from us, and let's not do that again this week. So
a lot has been written and said about Troy's unhappiness with the offense. Do you feel that Troy and Chan Gailey can coexist?
I think they can. I think everybody's been frustrated, and as a part of the offensive side of the ball, I mean, we just haven't done the things that we needed to do this year, and we've left our defense in awkward positions throughout the course of the season. They've held teams to 13 points, and we haven't been able to win football games. So I think it's more of a frustration than it is of a non-ability to work with each other. So I think that they'll definitely be able to coexist.
You're on IR because of the neck injury. Can you tell me what your prognosis is? What are you looking for in the future?
Well, we're going to have some tests run here in a couple of weeks, but in the beginning, things didn't look that great, but we've made some progress through the season. So I got my fingers crossed, but we'll have to wait and see.
We all do, Moose. Thanks a lot. Let's go back up to Dick.
And Emmitt Smith bursting forward for 22 yards, and earlier with a 45-yard gain, and Emmitt Smith with 107 yards as a result of that carry.
And a nice job again by the offensive line. Stepnoski did a good job, and Larry Allen did a good job. And heck, look, there's nobody around. He has all kinds of room to run into that second level. Percy Ellsworth having to make the tackle again. That's too many times we've talked about Percy Ellsworth.
And the Cowboys very serious here because this game is by no means over after the Giants did score on their last possession. First down for Dallas on the 44, and here is Emmitt Smith, and this team meaning business, taking it on the ground again, and a pickup of 7 yards with Bernard Holsey making the stop.
You know, we said at the start of the game that this Dallas Cowboy football team was a running team, and they came out running the football, and then they put it in the hands of Troy Aikman. And when you have a future Hall of Fame quarterback, even though, yeah, you may be out of sync a little bit, and maybe the receivers are young and they aren't on the same page, but if you can protect him, he can still beat you. And really, he's been the difference in this game today.
2 touchdown passes. Second down and 3 on the Giants 49. And again, Emmitt Smith with the carry for about a yard. Right now, for an NFL update, let's return to James Brown in Los Angeles.
Dick, we all know what an outstanding job Bill Parcells did with a team that started 1-6, finished 8-8, including beating 3 playoff teams down the stretch. Curtis Martin, 158 yards on the day. Jets up in Seattle, but Seattle still is in the playoffs. That's because of the Kansas City loss. Seattle will host Miami. Tennessee will host Buffalo. Back to you, Dick and Matt.
All right, JB, thank you very much. And of course, Miami got in when Seattle lost, and they're both in and will play each other. The Dolphins at the Seahawks. Buffalo will go against Tennessee next week in the AFC Wild-Card.
There's my dark horse. Buffalo Bills.
Very interesting.
Yes, they're playing good defense. They can run the football. If they can get some consistent play out of Flutie, they can make a run here. Tennessee's had an excellent year. They don't get enough consistent play out of their quarterback. If they can get McNair to play like he did last week all the time, they'd be phenomenal.
Timeout, setting up a very big play in this game. A 3rd down and 2 coming up for the Cowboys on the Giant 48-yard line. The Giants trailing 23-10. That's 2 scores, and badly in need of a stop right here. And the handoff is to Emmitt Smith, and Smith gets the first down. And the Cowboys will continue to use the clock. That was a 4-yard pickup, and Emmitt Smith today, 19 carries for 119 yards. A far cry from the earlier game at Giant Stadium when he gained 26 yards in 22 carries.
And you remember that first game, the Giants with different personnel. And they went with, they had 2 corners, healthy corners, and they just matched up, and then they played an 8-man front and took Emmitt completely out of the game. In fact, if I remember right, they were playing that gold bear front, right?
First down on the 44 for the Cowboys. Going with 2 tight ends, and here is Emmitt Smith trying to bounce out and then cut inside. Giants still have 2 timeouts remaining. That was Ryan Phillips making the tackle.
You know, it's been a good battle to watch today. It's been Eric Williams and Michael Strahan, because they're going after each other, banging each other, pushing each other afterwards, and then afterwards, like this last play, Eric Williams fell down. Strahan went over and helped them back up. Then they had a little bit of talk, and then they go back. Now they'll go back and headbutt each other again.
Respect.
Yeah, it is. And it's, you know, when you play, you're going to go against a guy who's going to bring his best game all day long, like Eric Williams. You have respect for that, and you keep on fighting it. The Strahan's the same way.
Second down and 7 at the 41-yard line. And Troy Aikman on the slant completes the pass to Raghib Ismail. And Ismail, who has caught a touchdown pass, good for 15 yards. So Cowboys not necessarily keeping the ball on the ground.
Well, they've been doing anything, because take a look at this. Right. 0 sacks allowed. They're running the football. They've been protecting Troy Aikman all game long. He's not been under any pressure. He's been able to step and throw up into the pocket. And this offensive line of the Cowboys, if they play like this through the playoffs, they can go pretty far.
Ismail, 7 catches for 62 yards and a touchdown. He had been down in his numbers the last 2 weeks, but has come back strong today. He's in motion to the right on first down at the 26. And Emmitt Smith nowhere to go, and finally putting the seal on him is Ryan Hale, the rookie from Arkansas. Arkansas beating Texas in the Cotton Bowl, played yesterday right here in Big D.
Hey, I see Sims's kid was playing yesterday.
That's right, Chris.
Watch him develop.
That was seen on Fox, and the Arkansas-Texas longtime rivals in the Southwest Conference meeting for the first time in bowl play. The Giants calling their second timeout of this second half with 5:02 remaining. 23-10, the Cowboys leading the Giants. Back here at Texas Stadium, and you know there are a lot of people in Green Bay who are anxiously wondering whether the Giants can come back and pull this one out, although the Cowboys are marching impressively. They're on the Giant 29-yard line. A victory in an upset manner, a shocking manner by the Giants, would give the Packers the wild card berth. Here is Emmitt Smith, and Smith picking up about 3 yards. Hale on the tackle with under 5 minutes to go in the fourth.
Giants take another timeout right here, stop the clock.
And their last timeout of the game. And right now for an NFL update, let's return to James Brown in Los Angeles.
Dick, I think Matt would agree that Tampa Bay is most effective when his defense is playing well, and they're doing the job on the ground. 143 rushing yards today as Tampa won its first NFC Central championship since '81. And the Redskins not backing into the playoffs. They're playing well, up on the Dolphins by 18. Back to Dick and Howard Matthew Moses Long's good friend Matt.
Howard Matthew Moses Long. How about that Tampa Bay team, Dick?
Tampa Bay very impressive down the stretch, winning 6 games, losing to Oakland 45-0, and then coming back to win their last 2.
And the recipe for success does not change. They play solid defense, they run the football, they play it close, they make you have to try to beat them. They do not beat themselves. That's going to be a tough team to beat.
People always say how good is Sean King. If he doesn't make mistakes, that works into Tony Dungy's scheme of things with defense and the rest. Deion Sanders in the game at wide receiver, 3rd down and 10, and the pass to Mike Lucky, catching his first of the game, tackled by Sam Garnes, and that'll bring up 4th down. And Eddie Murray will come on to try for 3 more.
And that'll be about a 40-yard field goal. 40, maybe 41.
Well, the longest field goal since his return from retirement was 34 yards. This will be his longest, 40 yards.
I think I was just watching him up in Detroit do sideline reports just a couple weeks ago.
Pam, who knows? Maybe Pam Oliver will get it up.
You're in.
Bjornsson is the holder, and Eddie Murray's kick, and it is good. 4th field goal of the game by Eddie Murray with 4:09 remaining in the 4th quarter. And the Cowboys add to their lead and end a little Giant momentum.
He hit it right on a button.
43 years old, the oldest active player in the league right at this moment, and it gives the Cowboys a 26-10 lead.
See, and after he kicks it, he says, yeah, good job to the holder. Then he goes and he points to all the guys, and he has to go over and introduce himself. Hi, I'm Eddie Murray. You probably don't know me, but I kick for you guys.
Let's take a look and rewind to some of the early game headlines. The Tampa Bay Bucks, just talking about them, win their first NFC Central title since 1981. Seattle, after losing to the Jets, win the AFC West. Mike Holmgren's first year as head coach, their first time as champs since 1988, as Oakland beat Kansas City. And Marshall Faulk set an NFL total for yards, 2,429. And a lot of people, you'll talk about Kurt Warner and the great array of offensive performers on the St. Louis Rams. Marshall Faulk, talk to any coach, will tell you he is the main reason why they have played so well offensively.
Well, you can just watch the tape, you can see it. But if you're picking an MVP, do they win without Kurt Warner, who's had just a phenomenal year?
Probably not.
No, they don't.
Tiki Barber in the end zone will touch it there.
No.
Well, coming up next, kick back and let you entertain on the first Sunday of the millennium with King of the Hill and a special hour of The Simpsons, followed by a bizarre alien encounter on the X-Files next on Fox, except on the West Coast.
The left coast.
Now, Kurt Warner, no question about what he has done this year.
But I think when you look at those two, there's no way that without either one of those teams, either guys in that team, they would have won. So I think maybe it's a cop-out, maybe not, but I remember just a couple of years ago that Brett Favre and Barry Sanders were co-MVPs of the league, and that would be a fitting thing for those guys because they both had phenomenal years, and it's really be hard to choose between the two.
Giants with a first down from the 20-yard line, needing 2 scores to tie it up. That's 2 touchdowns and 2 two-point conversions, and good pass rush that time by Leon Lett, who has the only sack of the game to this point.
Look how old that Leon Lett jersey is. I think that's looks like, and he tapes that thing down. I can see he's got it all doctored up. Look at all this stuff in here. But that's an old jersey. You know, I think sometimes, and I don't know if this is the case with Leon, but I know it was when I was playing. You don't want to let anything go. You just hold on to it. That's the jersey you played well in. Let me have it. Don't get rid of it.
Lett won't let go. Second down and 10 at the 20. And here's Kerry Collins throwing it into the Dallas bench, bringing up third down. The Cowboys looking to go 8-8 and join Detroit as the 2 8-8 teams in the playoffs. But we've had a lot of double-digit champions. Washington heading for their 10th win. Tampa Bay in the same situation. And of course the Rams, despite the loss today, with a tremendous year. And it looks like that the weaker teams in the past in the league are not as weak as they used to be. And that's where the balance is coming from, it seems.
Well, I agree with that. You know, the thing about the Dallas Cowboys, they're 1-7 on the road. And that's the worst road record to make the playoffs. And of course, they're going to have to win. If they're going to win in the playoffs, it's going to have to be on the road.
David Patton, the intended receiver, and a tough place to win as well, the Metrodome, if that's the matchup.
So they don't got that going for them, which is nice.
It is fourth down, and the Giants looking for an attempt to keep it going, trailing 26-10. Giants with 1 touchdown, that coming here in the fourth quarter on Joe Montgomery's 1-yard run after Joe Jaravicius 71-yard play. And on fourth down, running out of trouble is Collins, looking for anyone up there, and the pass is caught, and it is a first down. David Patton makes the grab and keeps it alive for the Giants. Pick up a 15 yards with 3.5 minutes to play, and getting up slowly is Brian Williams, the center.
Engler is coming in for him. Collins bought some time by rolling to his right. Then he was just waiting for somebody to get open because the coverage converged as he rolled. Once he saw it, nice job by Patton to find that hole and sit down in it.
Giants are out of timeout. And a free play coming up. Flag goes down, and the pass is caught by Joe Jaravicius. And that would be about 9 yards or so.
Still aren't throwing the ball down the field. Everything is still underneath. Good thing about this penalty is it stops the clock for it.
Offside, 93 defense, penalties decline, second down.
Pepe Zellner and of course Ron Blum had to make sure that Collins knew that it was about 9 yards on the play, maybe more than that, 9.5 yards. It'll be second, less than 1. And the ball at the 44 of the Giants. Collins with time, and his pass intended for Toomer.
Right there.
Toomer gets hit, and you're right.
Singer
Mobley come down.
Singer Mobley, that's the classic thing of, first of all, it's an uncatchable ball, and secondly, it's a defenseless position that guy's in. He's up in the air, and you have time to pull. You can't do that. Ball's uncatchable. He's kind of slowing down.
That's
and he waxed
similar to the Mark Carrier play again with Jermaine Crowell in the Detroit-Chicago game.
Carrier's had a couple of them. I know a couple of. I've defended Carrier, and it wasn't like that. I know this year he got one, not on Crowell. Crowell's the same guy on the team.
Right. It was against the Chicago Bears.
Chicago Bears.
Yes, that's
yeah.
right.
Yeah, they find him big,
That's
too.
right, they did. I stand corrected.
You can sit down.
He wouldn't have done that to a teammate, I don't think. He may get a fine as well. First down, Collins going up top for Alford, and it's up for grabs. And Deion Sanders amongst the group fighting for that ball, and it's jarred loose for an incompleted toss.
George Teague got over there. Actually, Alford does a good job of making sure that Teague or Sanders doesn't come down with the ball. That's actually pretty good transition by Alford. The ball hung up in the air. Kind of a jump ball. And if you're not going to catch it, you make sure no one else does. Watch Alford. He's still trying to go for it. But then you just make sure you rip through so nobody does get it. That's a good job by Alford.
2nd and 10 with 2:45 remaining in the fourth quarter. No timeouts remaining for the Giants, and the pass is complete underneath to Ike Hilliard, but they hit immediately. Tell you one thing, the Dallas defense, and that was that win, not giving the Giants to get yards after a catch all today.
And they forced them to throw under the whole time. They haven't pushed the ball down the field. You know, and just speaking, you mentioned that win. They may lose Randall Godfrey, who's had an excellent year in free agency. And if they do, that win will fill that hole admirably.
3rd down and 5. And this pass well overthrown, again intended for Amani Toomer. And 4th down coming up for the Giants.
Well, we talked about throwing the ball underneath like Kerry Collins all day. It's not, they haven't pushed the ball down the field at all. 7 times, 1 out of 7 down the field. The majority of those things, look at this underneath. This has been most of the time has been to Tiki Barber underneath.
Well, it's 4th down and 5 for the Giants. And if they're going to keep their flickering hopes alive, they've got to get the first down. Collins is being rushed, and the pass is caught by Barber, and he's got it, and a loose ball. And the officials have not given a signal. Yes, no, down by contact. So it is a catch and a first down for the Giants. And we'll have the 2-minute warning coming up with 1:54 showing on the clock. Barber had it down by contact when the ball came out. So the Giants have a first down, and they're still alive. 2-minute warning. We'll be right back to Texas Stadium. 2-minute warning with 1:58 adjusted on the clock. 26-10 the score. The Giants have a first down on the Cowboy 28, and we say the Giants trying to keep their flickering hopes alive. We really mean the Green Bay Packers do, because they're the team that would benefit if the Giants can pull it off. They need 2 touchdowns and 2 two-point conversions. Collins' pass is caught by Tiki Barber down the sideline, and he went out of bounds at the 20-yard line. Clock stopping with 1:52.
Ran through the tackle of Deion Sanders. Deion looked like he was just going to try to push him out of bounds, but Tiki Barber just got himself a little bit of separation and turned the corner and got up on Deion Sanders.
And a few anxious moments, you'd have to say, for the Cowboys, because there is enough time for all those things to happen.
No question. Take a shot right here into the end zone.
2nd down and 2 at the 20, and a bobble snap, and Tiki Barber may have fallen on it. So a low snap, and Barber coming up, holding on to his right knee. Ryan Williams, the center. And
sometimes, Dick, like the Giants right there look like the Keystone Cops, and everything that could go wrong is going wrong for them.
And now a whistle, and Kavika Pittman practically shaking hands with Kerry Collins before he got the snap from center.
Unabated to the quarterback.
Offside, 97 defense. Unabated to the quarterback, 5 yards. Repeat 3rd down.
Mr. Unabated, Matt Millen. Troy Aikman,
I'll leave that one
coming out strong. 288 yards. Great passing percentage and 2 touchdowns. Kerry Collins with an interception. Those are his numbers. Emmitt Smith with his 9th 100-yard game of the year. And a great performance as well by Jason Tucker. Here is Kerry Collins, and the pass is caught by Ike Hilliard, and he's down at the 7-yard line with 1:19. Working against the Giants is the fact they don't have any timeouts remaining. That was a 15-yard pickup.
Get up there and snap the ball. Don't stand around.
They're going too slow. considering that they need 2 touchdowns and 2 two-point conversions, and that is the tie. Here is Collins' pass into the end zone, and it is
That's a touchdown
by Brian Alford for the touchdown with 57 seconds to go. And Brian Alford with the touchdown catch, and the Giants have to go for the 2-point conversion right here. And if they make it, you would then see the onside kick. Pete Mobley in the corner of the end zone, and for Alford, that is his first NFL touchdown catch in his second year from Purdue. So now the Giants with a 2-point conversion. And now the Dallas Cowboys are going to call a timeout. It is their first. So things get a little dicey as we get down to 57 seconds remaining. Well, today's game was produced by Richard Zients and directed by Artie Kempner. Terrific job done by our boys in the truck and the entire crew. Our associate director, Greg Scopatoni. Our broadcast associates, Jacob Ullman, Derek Manning, and Adrian Hassenmeyer. The technical producer, Dean Walker, and his fine staff. Been with us for many years. And the technical director is Rich Basili, and the audio mixer is Jeff Cohen. Our DX1 engineers are Ken Fitzgerald and Mel Shields. And thanks to Pat Connolly, George Risher, and Tracy Johnson in maintenance. Our first and 10 engineer is Colin McManus. The senior producer is Bill Brown, and the executive producers of Fox Sports are Ed Gorin and David Hill. Thanks to all. 2-point conversion. Camella going in motion.
Pettigrews lined up outside like he thinks he knows what he's doing.
And the handoff is to Montgomery, and Montgomery dives forward, and he's got it. The Giants get the 2-point conversion and climb within 8 with 57 seconds to go.
That was all Montgomery, because he got hit right at the line of scrimmage, and then he just kept on going to get in. Good second effort. Now they're saying it's no good.
One official raised his hands on the far side, and they have waved it off. And Jim Fossil is not going to take this lightly.
See if his knee is down.
And in case you're wondering, inside 2 minutes, it is not a coach that would challenge it, but it would be the replay officials upstairs.
Still churning. Now he's on top of somebody. You know, his knee never technically touched the ground.
And his extension with his right arm broke the plane.
He's on top of a defender who tackled him.
Jim Fossil is livid as he is arguing with Ron Blum. And the replay booth.
Yeah, this is within 2 minutes, so the replay booth would have to call that, and they are going to review it upstairs.
This is a big one. This replay review.
That wins on the bottom.
His knee is not down.
No, he's on top of the defender when he goes over.
I think he went over because of the reason you just mentioned.
Kavika Pittman is underneath his knee as he's going forward. It's across the plane. His knee has not hit the ground, but it has hit the player who's on the ground.
That win with the first hit. And of course, what this replay means that if it
means the Giants can still win.
Can still win, of course. They'd be down by 8. Onside kick. They have to recover the onside kick.
The knee, as you can see there, was never on the ground. It was on the player on the ground.
Here comes Ron Blum with the decision, and it's Ron Blum's decision all the way.
After reviewing the play, the runner scored. The extra point is good. 2-point conversion is good.
And a good call.
I am 2 for 2 today. I am feeling really good about myself.
5 for 21 on the year.
Not bad.
And more important,
I'm a stiff.
2 for 2, and Jerry Jones talking with Calvin Hill on the sidelines, and the Giants are still alive, but all things have to work for the Giants. They needed the touchdown. They needed the 2-point conversion. They need to get the onside kick. They need a touchdown. They need a 2-point conversion, and then we'd go in overtime.
You sound like my kids at Christmas. Holy smokes. They need a lot of stuff. See if Santa shows up again.
Giants 0 for 2 on onside kicks. Gary Blanchard will kick it.
Hey, stranger things have happened, Dick. Wouldn't it be a fitting ending to a bizarre year?
Yes, all this year I was going to say those strange things.
You might hear a big cheer in Green Bay if they get this.
And the ball is knocked around.
Didn't go 10 yards.
Go 10 yards, and thus the flag is thrown down.
Sure, Livingston was right there, but it's got to go 10.
Illegal touching. The ball was recovered by the kicking team. The touch was prior to 10 yards. It's a 5-yard penalty, re-kick.
So they will re-kick. Matt, when we went to the fourth quarter and the score was 23-3 in favor of the Cowboys, we didn't expect to have this in the last minute of the game.
No, that's where it has to go, that 40 right there. Oh, boy. That came close. You can see what they're trying to do. They're trying to power everybody in and create a space and then let Livingston fall in behind it.
Almost hit Dexter Coakley. Came very close. So now the onside kick once more.
Taken from the 25. It has to get to the 35 before it can be recovered, unless, of course, it's touched first by a Dallas Cowboy.
And here it is again. It is touched by a Cowboy, and it's
Dexter Coakley.
And the Cowboys get the ball, and for all intents and purposes have ended the Green Bay Packers' hopes of getting into the wild card, and the Giants' hopes of winning a game and knocking off the Cowboys and finishing 8-8 on the year. There was Coakley, who very nearly had the ball the first time around.
You know, the shortest kickoff return for a touchdown was against the New York Giants versus the Oakland Raiders in 1980. Derek Jensen holds the record for the shortest kickoff return for a touchdown. And I happen to be there.
Finished up 8-8 are the rest of the NFC playoff teams, and the wild card action will begin next weekend, and on Fox you will see an NFC wild card game a week from today. So Jerry Jones is going to make some changes in the way he operates his team, a lot of the spending of the money and so forth, but that's going to have to wait a while, as the Dallas Cowboys did what they needed to do finally after getting so many chances going by the wayside, defeat the New York Giants 26-18 and get into the playoffs. We'll be back to Texas Stadium in just a moment.